If you were in the corporate sector, they would call it a SWOT analysis. And a SWOT analysis is simply looking at your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. How does that apply to you? And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that you sit down and do a full corporate analysis of your business. That's just not how I operate. But what you do need to do is be clear on where you stand at this present moment in time. And that's the case with any kind of planning, in any sense of planning at all. Whether you're planning for your life, whether you're planning, I mean, even to build an extension on the side of your house, whether you're planning to create a marketing campaign, whatever you're planning at any stage in your life, you need to stop and take a look at where you are right now, right at this moment in time. And a SWOT analysis is one of the best ways to do that, guys. A SWOT analysis is the ideal thing to help you to do that, to help you to take a snapshot in time and say, right, this is where I stand. Now, how does that look for you guys? If I very quickly, and I will, like I said, I don't expect you to do a full corporate SWOT analysis, but what I do want you to do is just stand still for a minute, take a pen and paper and write down. Before you start writing out a marketing plan, just write down, where do I stand at the moment? Where is my business right this minute? Whether you've just started out in business or whether you've been in business for 20 years or whatever, sit down and just go, right, where am I with my business at the moment? And where am I underneath these headings? And each of these headings are, as I say, strengths. So if you take a look at strengths at the moment, it may look something like this. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just to give you an idea. You might look at the strengths within your business at the moment and think to yourself, okay, what works well for me? Well, one, I'm flexible in terms of the hours that I work. These are just things that reflect me, guys. You've got to look at your strengths in your business. So flexible. I'm flexible in terms of the hours that I work. I've got no tie downs like many big companies in the area might have. I can work flexible hours, right? I'm skilled with heating controls. So when we're talking about heating plans and SY plans and stuff like that, that's a strength of mine. I'm also strong as far as fault finding is concerned. I have a firm belief that I can find any fault, not saying fix it, but I can find any fault within sort of an hour of being on site. That is understanding fault finding. So that's a strength of mine as well. It may be of yours. You may have different strengths. Good local knowledge. So I know the area. I know the properties within the area. I know the generation of the housing stock in the area, so that when I'm doing my marketing, I can think, okay, if I want to market consumer units, I know areas where I'm better off marketing my consumer units because I know I'm going to get a better response from that area. If I'm looking to target rewires, I know the areas where to target, the houses that are old enough to warrant needing a rewire, places that are already looking for that kind of work. I've got that kind of good local knowledge of my area. I know where the new builds are, so that if I want to target for smaller works and so on and so forth, yeah, I've got low overheads as far as running my business. So all of these things operate as strengths, and you need to sit down and look at the strengths within your business. Then you need to take a look at the weaknesses. What are the things that are not so strong in your business? What weaknesses exist as far as your business is concerned? And some of those things can be, and I'm not saying, because being a one-man band could be a strength, but it could also be a weakness in the sense that you can only take a certain amount of work on, or you can only take certain types of work on, because you would struggle if you needed another pair of hands. Communication skills. You may have identified that one of the things you have a weakness in is not getting back to people, not responding to stuff, not following up on quotes, not informing customers of issues. But and you know what, we all struggle to identify our own weaknesses because our ego gets in the way and we don't want to admit that we have problems with things. So you need to examine carefully. Like I said, just sit down with a piece of paper, draw the quadrant. You got strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Write those down into the quadrant and then just start thinking, what areas am I strong in? What areas am I weak in? Things like having a small budget could be a weakness, but may not necessarily be, depending on how you plan your marketing and the stuff that you want to do. Not known or not recognized within the local community. So therefore, how do you get the word out if you're not recognized and you're not known? Is this a weakness? And the reason that we want to identify these things is so that we can strengthen them and they no longer remain weaknesses. But by identifying them, we start to build that foundation underneath us. And by being real about it, instead of burying our head in the sand and thinking, I've got no weaknesses, I'm a great communicator, and blah, blah, blah. Instead of doing that and burying your head in the sand, you start to identify these issues, which help you to resolve them, which then helps you to build better marketing plans. Then we need to take a look at the opportunities that exist in our community, in our local area for us. One of the opportunities may be that, you know, other electricians are not doing the type of stuff that you're thinking about doing. So people may, you know, they may not be making good use of YouTube. They may not be making good use of Facebook. They might not be making good use of local magazines or doing leafleting drops because they feel that leaflets don't work. All of these kind of things. So what are the opportunities that exist for you to strengthen your position in the local area? You may have identified that there's a number of local magazines that you can promote in. There might be a number of networking meetings that you could attend. You might also identify that there's nobody specializing in just doing domestic work, while everybody's out there saying, you know, industrial, commercial, domestic. There's nobody actually niching down and specializing in a particular area, whether it's domestic work, whether it's consumer units, whether it's rewires, whether it's outside lighting. They're not specializing. So that could create an opportunity for you as well. And then you have to be realistic about what are the threats to you as well from your local community or to your business in the local area. And threats could be, like for my purposes, when I was on the tools, I had 13 other electricians. I think I've said this over and over a number of times. I had 13 other electricians within walking distance of my home, all promoting to do work in that area. So is that a threat? Or can you turn that into an opportunity? So once you identify what the potential threat is, you can then look at how do you deal with that threat. You could look at things like additional fuel costs. Like you may have started your business before we had COVID, before we had war, before we had increases in prices and so on and so forth. So it could be increased pricing in terms of diesel prices or fuel charges or rent charges. That could be a threat to your business as well. Changes in regulations. You know, we're going through, as you know, Amendment 2 at the moment. What in there, do you need to retrain? Is it going to threaten the type of work that you're planning to do? Is it going to increase or add cost to what you're going to do? If you're going to add FADs to your boards and so on and so forth, does that upset how you market your business or how you change things? But understanding and recognizing these things will help you then to create solutions for these issues. So that's the first thing, guys. Take a snapshot of where you are in your business at the moment. Hopefully that's making sense. And remember, guys, if you have any questions at all, now's the time. Jump in, ask any questions that you have. So step number 1 out of the 5 steps is very simply take a snapshot of your business so that you know where you are right now. And some people will think, oh, why do I want to do that? I want to create a plan. I want to move forward. The best way of moving forward is to understand where you're moving from. Like I said, if you're building an extension on the side of your house at the moment, the first thing the architect is going to look at is what do we currently have in place? You know, what kind of land have we got? What's underneath the land? Is it suitable to put a foundation in? What kind of foundation do we need? What's the gable end of the building like? Where's the light coming from? All of these things are already in existence. Sorry, I'm just trying to use that as an analogy to show you. All of these things are already in existence before the architect puts pen to paper. So he needs to understand what is there. And you're the same in your business. Before going, oh, I'm going to do a marketing plan. I'm going to do, I'm going to send out emails on a Friday. I'm going to do this on a Wednesday. I'm going to do that. Before doing any of that, understand where you are. Take a snapshot of your business, figure out what is going on in your business right now, right this minute. Identify it, get it clear in your head. As I said, sit down with a pen and paper, draw the quadrant out, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And just know what these things are in your business.